cheated on your son's father with Chad.
Yes.
You stepped outside of the relationship.
I finally had enough.
Did Chad approach you knowing you were in this relationship?
I approached Chad.
Welcome back, and Happy New Year to all of you. Welcome to 2025. Oh my goodness, I have been trying to avoid this topic, this relationship, this fiasco for quite some time. It's felt so overdone. As the young people say, it's cooked. And I did not want to speak on it. I felt like it was but anyway, here we are. Sharelle, Rosado, and Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Some of you may know by now Chad Ochocinco Johnson, and we'll just call him Ocho for short here. Former football player, played for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not sure if he played for other teams. I really didn't follow his career like that, but former NFL player, Sharelle Rosado. As I understand it, she has I don't know if it's still current, you guys can put in the comments. She had a reality show where she's a real estate agent selling Tampa, I think was the name. Anyway, long story made short, Sharelle was at one point married to some person. We don't know this. I don't think he's in the limelight. And she stepped outside of her marriage, had an affair with Ocho Cinco. At some point, the marriage she was in dissolved. She moved on to her relationship with Ocho Cinco, and they have a daughter and were engaged at one point. They called it, and I think this has been like almost maybe, I'm going to say 5 to 10 years. Again, I don't really follow those people. Just maybe within the past 7 or 8 months, they've really been in the limelight, I guess, as I do watch Club Shay Shay, and he has a show sidebar with Ocho Cinco called Nightcap. So it's kind of really how I became re-familiar with Ocho Cinco. Anyway, so they broke up, or she broke up with him. Apparently he was cheating, and I don't know if it went all the way into an actual, physical affair, if it was just conversations, but she said that in an interview she did with Carlos King, who's a reality TV producer, that she went through Chad's phone, or Ocho Cinco's phone, and found him conversing with other women while they're engaged. And that prompted the breakup. She had enough. So here's what I have to say. Of course, the foundation is for the guy, you were married and you cheated on your husband with him. So the sympathy card for most people has already gone out the window. Like, you cheated and you got with really a known cheater and you expected things to be different. That pretty much is my take on it. Another beautiful delusion. I could go on all day about, stepping outside of your marriage. She did one interview where she said it really didn't, because she had mentally and emotionally checked out of her marriage, that I guess to her it didn't count. Like, yeah, I was cheating, but I wasn't in love with my husband at that point, so it really didn't matter. I don't know if I don't want to say girl math. Maybe it's, I hate to say it, maybe it's poor math. I don't know. I think as long as you're married and you step outside of your marriage is cheating, that's what I would call it, an adulterous affair. Anyway, she said that a lot of women throw themselves at Chad. But also in the same interview, she fixed her mouth to say that she approached Chad as well. She DM'd him. She threw herself, if you will, at Chad Ochocinco Johnson. So why would you think that would stop? Here's my thing. Here's my take. From what I understand with Ochocinco, he was in a previous relationship, and actually marriage, with basketball, and I can't believe I know these people, oh my God. Basketball wives, or whatever it is, TV show, Evelyn's Rosado. He was in a marriage with her, cheated on her, which she allowed or accepted the cheating. She said as long as you use protection, but then when he actually cheated, it became a problem. I'm not sure. Again, another beautiful delusion. You tell a guy, hey, just please use protection, but you can step outside of your marriage. That's exactly what he's going to do. So she approached Ocho Cinco in her marriage for whatever reason, and they hooked up. And for some reason, she thought that their relationship would be different. I'm not sure why. Again, you're stepping out with obviously the intent to cheat. You were going to meet up with him to, play checkers. I'm sure that's not what, hey, I'm an avid checker player and I heard you play checkers. So let's meet at the park and play checkers. I'm sure that's not how the conversation went. I'm not privy to the conversation, but I'm pretty sure that's not how the conversation went. So you knew what you were doing. You know this guy's a known cheater. And allegedly physically abused Evelyn Rosado as well. Headbutted her, allegedly. But for some reason you thought I would be different. And for some reason you thought, oh, well, I have the game. When I say game, I have, the mental wherewithal to kind of bring him in from the streets, if you will. Here's the thing. This is for men and women. Yes, you get them how you lose them. But if a person has not been able to restrain themselves from any type of addiction they may have or any type of indulgence that they may have, they're only going to do that with you while they're in front of you. Chances are, right? It's like someone who maybe has a drug addiction and you take them out of their environment to where they don't have access to get the drugs that they want. But then the moment that they do, they go back to it. So while they don't have access to it, you think, oh my goodness, this person really has changed. No, this person does not have access. This person never got rid of that itch, if you will. So, again, as I understand, and allegedly, Ocho Cinco is a known cheater, a known man that can't keep his willy to himself. He spreads the love, if you will. If he was never able to tame himself independent and even, inside of his marriage and his relationship, that tells you a lot about the character within himself. So why would he be able to do that with you? If you know he's the type of man that likes or accepts women that throw themselves at him, why would you think that it would stop with you? Okay? That's a beautiful delusion. Because people are who they are. And yes, people can change, but people have to want to change. And here's another thing. And I know we're, in this progressive age of, women now, we shoot our shots, we take our chances. I'm not a part of that. I'm old school and very traditional. The majority of men will take what you give them, but it doesn't mean that they're going to value what you give them. Those same majority of men will only value what they have worked for. And that's a really tough pill to swallow. But I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real, Sharelle. Keeping it real. If you put it on a platter, he'll take it. But it doesn't mean that he's going to hold this of any type of value. And that's most people. Not just, men. That's a lot of people. People really value, it means something when you put in the blood, the sweat, the tears to work for it. So in, sliding in his DMs, I'm a firm believer if a man wants you, if a person wants you, or if it's meant to be, or whatever the case, your person is going to find you, some way. And I really think that with men. So I think you going under his radar and she has a little bit of notoriety. Again, she had a reality TV show, but you going underneath the radar not on his radar, that would be telling, you know. If I saw a guy and I liked him and I'm a celebrity or I have some type of, celebridom, I would maybe try to put myself in the room. Maybe if there's an event I know he's going to be at, I guess I probably wouldn't do that. But I mean, that's probably what she could have done. And then if he sees you and he likes you, allow him to pursue you. Allow him to see you in a way that he will have to come after you to value you. But if you put it out there on a platter and say, here, take this, and he's going to take it, but doesn't mean he's going to value and or respect it. And he doesn't come across as the kind of guy that really values or respects women or really himself, honestly, from that's a whole other, show that we can, not show, that's a whole other topic. But the majority of men, I'd venture to say, really value a woman that they've had to put in some energy and some effort for. And you being like every other woman in his DMs, and even though, yes, he did propose to you, doesn't mean that his character would change. And so here we are. So the thing that I would hope that she would gather, and as I understand, she's former military, so we definitely thank her for her service. She made the statement in that interview with Carlos King that it was really tough getting promotions in the military because I'm a woman, and obviously I guess it's male dominated, and so I had to fight for everything. So it's kind of hard to step out of that fighting for everything, and I totally get that. And I don't know if, and honestly, that's really not to get on the whole sexist thing, but yeah, most women in a male dominated field, and most people really have to fight for a promotion or really have to fight for what you want, unless your father's the owner of the CEO of the company. You know what I mean? Most people have to really grind out for the life that they want. She also went on to say that they both began to kind of focus on their own financial pursuits and perhaps weren't taking the time to focus on a relationship. I'm not going to use that as a plausible excuse. I know that, yes, you can grow apart. Yes, I do know that if you don't take care of your partner and your partner doesn't take care of you, then that can kind of leave open doors for people to come on in, and here's 20% of what you're not 20% of what you're not getting at home, I'll rub your back. I'll rub your corns. If your man's not doing that, I'll do it. If your woman's not cooking for you, oh yeah, come, I'll cook for you, baby. Whatever the case may be. It's no reason to cheat, and I hope that she doesn't blame herself. I don't feel sorry for her, not just because she cheated on her husband with Ocho Cinco, but because I guess he's a known cheater. So I don't really kind of how she went about it. I have my own thoughts. I kind of felt like she approached him for superficial reasons. Again, I've never heard of any. He's never had stellar character for me from what I've heard of him. Just in I guess celebrity blogs or whatever, interview. He's never come across as the stand-up guy that you would want to. Oh my God, I really want to get to know him. Nothing about him says that. Maybe hey, teach me your workout plan. Or hey, teach me how to be frugal. He's very frugal from what I understand. He's very frugal. Teach me that. But nothing else about him says I'm going to be sitting on the porch with my dentures with this man in, 30, 40 years. Nothing about him says that. And I'm not saying that people can't change. I'm just saying a lot of times people have to have a reason to change. And that reason really needs to be themselves. Because if you change for somebody else, I don't know how long that change will last, but sometimes that can be good. Sometimes you'll be on a crazy wayward path and you have a child, and sometimes that straightens you out, or you want to change for your parents so that they can see you, make something of yourself, whatever. That does happen. And, kudos to people that do change. But generally speaking, a man who has an issue with lust and promiscuity can potentially change for the woman that he loves and values and respects. But I don't think that was the case in this particular circumstance. So I wish the best for them, whether that's independently or separately. I think he has a long journey ahead of himself in terms of getting himself together. A lot of times people think, of that, financial tax bracket, they think because I got money, like I got my stuff together, or I work out, so I've got my stuff together. No, like you're a whole mess inside, and I guess we all kind of are. But, as Ian Levanzat said, you have to do your work. And I don't think he's done it. I don't think she's done it. I think that they're two surface-based individuals that got together for the look and the aesthetics and for the bag, quote unquote. And so I'm just really not surprised at how it ended. And they may or may not get back together. Like I said, they were together for, 5 or 10. I think it was 8 years, but I just want to say 5 or 10 because I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that they have a beautiful daughter together, that they're co-parenting. So, you never know how that works out. But yeah, but when you get with someone, be fully aware of who you are, be fully aware of who they are, and just don't be surprised about stuff that you already know, and be honest about your intention when you got with them. Unfortunately, a lot of people in that realm aren't necessarily looking for just straight up love and companionship, and they're looking for compatibility and convenience. Like, you look good, I look good, you got money, I got money, let's get together. But there's no real substance and no real sustenance in the relationship. It's all just surface, watered down and weak stuff, which is materialism. And while I think it's good to come together and we're both, ambitious individuals, doing the same thing, it's not just your bank accounts that need to balance each other out. It's your character on the inside. It's your mentality. It's how you were raised, how you want to raise your children. It's those real, very real things that you live with every day. Like I always tell my brother, I say, it's not pieces of paper on the wall that you lay down with at night, right? It's not the degrees. It's not the money. Those things are nice, but it's ultimately character who you lay down with at night. Can you lay down with this person at night? Is this person going to bring peace, or what are they bringing? Like, she's going through his phone. Who wants that? Character is who you lay down with, not paper. Whether it's that paper, money, or paper degrees, or paper, whatever. And like I said, those things are great. But really be aware of who you are, what you want, and then try to find that mirroring back in your relationship. So that's my takeaway. I hope they both I know she's in therapy. I hope they both get the help that they need. I know what a broken heart feels like, so I don't celebrate that portion of it. But everything is a lesson learned. So I wish them the best again, whether that's independently or together. And that's just for the betterment of their child. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like.